Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
Is Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. I'm Dan Bernstein. That is Matt Abaticola, and he is hurting
I don't feel good.
He doesn't feel good. He got the flu. He got the goop. And when
I took a goop test.
No,
Yeah.
you have actual flu, right?
Yeah, I took a goop test.
Yeah. And were you negative or positive for goop?
Negative for goop.
Okay. For the goop. You don't want a goop.
No, I'm going to go to the store and get some later, though.
All right. Are you drinking a lot of clear liquids?
I am.
Okay, like
Yeah, I am.
broth and Pedialyte and all that.
Yeah, but I'm not hungry though.
I don't care. Make yourself some food. Have some, like, even if it's just saltines or like scrambled eggs or applesauce or just
So much work.
I know. Make sure you have something though. Your body needs something. So just make sure I can get you some ginger ale or something.
No, not your mom's ginger ale either.
No, not Verner's. No, Canada
Oof.
Dry.
Gross.
And you'll have that, and then you can sit on the couch and watch game shows.
Yep.
And then you can watch like the weird shows like Green Acres and Courtship of Eddie's Father when that comes on. And then maybe
I think we're a few decades off.
Then maybe that'll bridge your way into like Three Stooges or Little Rascals, and then you start into the afternoon game shows, and then you're probably good up until, the national news and then the local news and then something on primetime.
Are there sports on tonight? Is there
Bulls.
something?
Oh,
Bulls are on tonight.
Brooklyn.
Okay.
You can watch the red hot Bulls against Brooklyn.
Is
and see
Bob
if
Barker
they can-
still alive or is he dead?
I think he's dead.
Okay, so he's not doing Prices Right anymore?
Drew Carey is doing Price is Right.
Really?
Right? I think so.
Is he
Yeah.
really?
I think he has been for a long time. I think most people never heard of Bob Barker. It's like the people who don't realize that Art Fleming did Jeopardy before Trebek.
Who?
Art Fleming. The guy
Never
who
heard of
really
him.
was the face and voice of Jeopardy, and then they brought it back with Alex Trebek. Is that a lozenge? Are you lozenging?
I am lozenging.
Okay.
Wait, so Jeopardy was on before Alex Trebek was hosting Jeopardy?
Of course.
Oh.
Yeah, that was like the remake. The Alex Trebek version was the remake of Jeopardy.
Well, the remake's better than the original.
It's certainly bigger, I think. Although don't tell that to Art Fleming, who I'm pretty sure is definitely dead.
Although who's coaching? Who's hosting it now? Is it
It's
Ken Jennings? Is
Yeah.
it the guy who won a lot?
Yeah, it's Ken
Nice.
Jennings.
So he's the Jeopardy coach
Who's
now?
coaching now? He's coaching Jeopardy.
My brain is shot. I didn't sleep last night either. I was up a lot.
Tap the sign. Think like a champion today, in the form of a question.
Oh,
All right,
God.
okay. You're
I'm done. I'm going to sit here and just
suspended.
watch you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Just
that's
gonna stare at
probably your best bet. I'm a little concerned about why Ben Johnson is walking back his perfectly correct and valid observation about his team. I didn't like that. You're the coach of the Chicago Bears. When you have an observation that we're all seeing, you don't have to walk it back and you don't have to be scared of criticism. This is, I think, the first time it seems like Ben Johnson was a little knocked back. And I don't know why. I don't know what got to him. I don't know who within the organization told him he had to do this or what happened internally to make him do this. And I don't want to read too much into it, but I definitely want to note that this was something obvious happened, especially the way it's juxtaposed this directly. So let me walk you through this, and you tell me if you think I'm coming from a reasonable place here, as I try. He said this Monday, Ben Johnson said there are a number of passes that we've been talking about where we've got to fundamentally be correct. The primary receiver, when he's open, we've got to make sure we hit him. So they talked about the post route in the back of the end zone that was missed. They talked about the throw that was short. There was when Odunze was short in the corner. And there was the one in the back of the end zone to Olamide Zacchaeus on the post that was out of his reach. And then there was this comment that I think is the one that really hit home from Johnson. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it. And none of us are pleased with that right now. It's a great quote. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it, and none of us are pleased with that right now. That is a legitimate, correct observation, honest, more importantly, honest observation from the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And then here's what he said yesterday. When I made that comment yesterday, meaning Monday, it's easy to construe it as I'm not happy with the quarterback. That's not the case whatsoever. He continues to get better each and every week. I couldn't be more pleased with how he played last week. I know what the stats say. Throw those out the window. He's doing a really good job managing the ball game. And then Williams later said, yeah, take the stats out. Well, no. I think that's unreasonable to ask people to take the stats out. If you want to talk about a given game, yeah, they're 9-3. And everything he said was absolutely true. They won on a day where the passing game was bad for the most part. So what made him walk it back? What made him soften it? Especially because of what we celebrated. And what bugs me a little bit, I'm not saying a lot, I'm not saying this is some sort of crisis, but I don't want this to become habitual. I don't want the head coach of the Bears, who's riding high right now, who is going to get coach of the year votes. I mean, Vrabel is obviously the coach of the year, but who's certainly the coach of the conference and who is getting all kinds of attention that is absolutely well-deserved and being celebrated. He's the de facto Mayor Johnson, as many have said. But it's because of the coaching. And it's because of the fearlessness. This is the same guy who said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. He said it. Ben Johnson said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. So what's wrong with him saying we're winning in spite of our passing game and none of us are pleased with that right now? You shouldn't be. I'm not pleased either, because regardless of these 12, it's the next games that all we understand matter more. Not just the next 5, not just 2 against the Packers. You're headed into Lambeau. You're a 6-point dog or whatever you are, still with a ton to prove and an opportunity to win something this year. Don't walk it back. This passing game is going to have to win games for the Bears. Let's be very clear about that. The run game's awesome. They're great at it. Whatever we want to call the guard center guard. And I don't know what we're coalescing around for what we're calling that group, but there's been a lot of support that's been coming in for Department of the Interior.
I also saw the one today that said the beef curtain.
No, thank you.
Instead of the iron curtain, the steel curtain, now there's the beef curtain.
No, there's a double meaning there that is gross, and it would be cute if not for the double entendre there that I think makes it gross. But Department of the Interior is cumbersome, but strong sounding. I just don't like the fact at this particular current time it's a reference to something that is usually considered a stable aspect of government. Just don't, as long as we don't start messing around with what you're calling anything on defense, because there's going to be some people resigning or getting fired in the actual thing there very,
You
very
mean the
soon.
Department of War?
Well, whatever it is, there are going to be people who are continuing to clean up really, really bad stories that are full of lies. And the idea of throwing an actual admiral under the bus is not sitting well with people but just don't get me started on that, because that's really bad. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And
just do not go after Admiral Akbar either.
Well, I'm certainly hoping they don't throw him under the bus. Did you order the double tap? Did you blow up people who survived the first one? Talk to the squid.
Yeah, it's a trap.
The camera moves down at that cabinet meeting. The president's asleep, and then there they go over there. There's Admiral Akbar. I said it was a trap. Oh, damn it!
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to answer that. It's a trap.
Your question's a trap. Shut up, piggy. You're stupid.
The Ben Johnson
Don't
stuff.
call me piggy. You're a squid.
The Ben Johnson stuff is interesting because in his answer Monday, he wasn't just completely destroying or going after or criticizing Caleb Williams. He was talking about the entire passing game. He talked about the receivers not running their routes. Not running the routes to the right depth. He was talking. I mean, there was.
Of course
all
he
the
was.
aspects.
But anybody with a brain knows that. That's my problem here. And you're not supposed to talk. Go drink your ginger ale.
Sorry. Yeah.
Have your soup. Do you need me to make you soup?
No, you're not gonna make me soup. You're in Chicago.
I make awesome soup.
I know. I'm sure you do. Are you gonna bring it over today?
Can't you email soup now?
What's soup now?
Can't you? Isn't there some technology that allows me to text you soup?
No, it's called
Somebody
DoorDash.
invent that. Somebody invent that. I want to make
homemade soup. Yeah, you need like a homemade version of DoorDash.
No, I just need to be able to make soup and then text it to you.
No, you need to make it and have someone pick it up and deliver it, like a home version of DoorDash, where it's not being picked up at a restaurant; it's being picked up at someone's home and then delivered to whoever they want.
I like it. You can do that with drugs.
Okay, I guess we could.
Now that I think about it, that would be a really good business to do, just like that, except with recreational drugs.
Oh, recreational. I thought you meant like Sudafed or...
That works too. Well, Sudafed. Are you kidding? It's harder to get Sudafed than it is to get weed.
Yeah, why don't I have to show my license to get it?
Yes.
Why is that?
You need like a retinal scan and a rectal print to get Sudafed, because then they sell you the fake Sudafed that doesn't work. Sudafed phenylephrine or whatever.
Yeah, the stuff that doesn't work is you can just grab it and walk away.
Yes.
And go pay. But
that's how you know it doesn't work.
Right, and the one that you need to get is the one behind the pharmacy.
That's the one that they make you jump through hoops. You need a real ID and a passport and all that just to
and
clear
$1 million
everything
in
up.
cash. Yeah.
Well, I want to read this second comment again by Johnson. When I made that comment yesterday, it's easy to construe it as I'm not happy with the quarterback. That's not the case whatsoever. And when you heard him, he sounded a little defensive. I don't like it. I don't like him sounding like he got chastised or humbled or felt that some word got to, hey, Caleb doesn't like what you said. And I don't know that happened. I want to know why. I want to know why he felt he had to clarify what he said. Who came to him and said somebody was unhappy with it? I hope it's not stupid fans who don't realize that what he said was absolutely true. Is this all of the cult of Caleb that is not allowing the head coach to criticize the quarterback? What he said was 100% true. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it, and none of us are pleased with that right now. It should be none of us is, not none of us are, but we'll overlook that because none is not one. Not one of us is, not one of us are. None of us is pleased with that right now. Of course not, because now the expectations are higher. Again, the passing game has to be better if they're going to win playoff games and win at Lambeau. It's got to be better. Beat the Lions, beat that Browns defense, beat the Niners, win the Super Bowl. Anything you have as a goal from here on out, whatever you have, get to double-digit wins, get a bye in the playoffs, anything, whatever whatever. Maybe your goal isn't to win the Super Bowl, but anything from now, the passing game's got to be better. Why isn't he allowed to say that? And on the same day that we're seeing all the pictures again of he took his shirt off. There's more chaos at the Wiener Circle, and there's a circus going on there at Wiener Circle, and there's people dressed up as mustard, and there's the fire engine there playing Bear Down Chicago Bears. That's all fun, but remember, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating the coaching, not the removal of the shirt. You don't do that after you lose. You don't do that when you're bad. Remember what we're celebrating. We're celebrating having a coach who can say what he said without walking it back. That's what we're excited about. That's what's cool right now, is the coaching. And then when are we emasculating him? Are we trying to, who and what pushed back against him? Who made it a priority for him to walk back that critique? That's the words of the Tribune's Phil Thompson right here. It's saying Johnson walked back his critique. He clearly did. And if you listen to the tone, it's obvious that he did. He shouldn't have to, because what he said was right. It was completely right. Caleb Williams is one of the least accurate passers in the NFL. Period, paragraph. And they're winning. And I still think he's good. But these are all facts. And we don't have to ignore them. We don't have to create a narrative. We don't have to protect him. The only people that have to protect Caleb Williams are his offensive line, the running backs, the tight ends, whoever is involved in literally protecting him on a given play. That's not our job. It is not your job as a fan to do that either. He doesn't need that. He's a grown-up. And I would hope that the criticism he's getting internally is real. He says he wants to be coached, and I believe him. But right now, the accuracy numbers are trending in a bad direction. He's also, I believe, leading the league in off-target throws.
Yeah, that's correct.
He's has more off-target throws than any regular quarterback in the NFL. So let Ben Johnson coach and get out of his damn way.
Yeah, and there are a lot of things that Caleb has improved on, has gotten better. But again, the criticism that Ben Johnson was talking about Monday was about the entire passing game. It wasn't just about Caleb Williams.
But even if it was, is he the quarterback?
I know, but the point is that he was talking about the whole passing game. He was talking about the receivers not doing their jobs to the best of their ability. He was talking about the entire thing. And to feel the need to walk it back is really, it's curious.
It's
really curious because, again, he went after the entire passing game. It wasn't just Caleb Williams, but any criticism of Caleb Williams is accurate. And when he was talking about throw the stats out, I hope he was just talking about that one particular game against the Eagles because it was there was a greater difficulty in the pass game on that particular day. And those stats looked pretty worse. I think it was his lowest completion percentage of the season for a game. And if he meant that, like throw those stats out for that game because of the circumstances, fine. I'm fine with that. But not overall, you can't because he is one of the least accurate passers in the league, and that's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Yes, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you can't have that. He's got to be better, and they've got to win because of him, not in spite of him. That's the fact. They're going to have to pass to win. The run will be taken away. The run will be complimentary. The NFL is not going to change for the Bears. The NFL is not all of a sudden the physics of the NFL and all of the environment that governs this league is not going to change for the 2025 Bears. They will have to pass the ball better to win anything important. And it's okay for the coach to say that. It's more than okay for the coach to single out the quarterback if he thinks it's the quarterback's responsibility. That's what we're celebrating. That's why we're excited to have Ben Johnson here. And then to somehow neuter him, I want to know how or why. What was the mechanism that resulted in him wanting to offer the walkback of his comments? Was it from outside or was it from inside? Was it both? Did somebody come to him? Did Caleb come to him and say, "Hey, man, I don't like being called out like that"? I don't know. Is he just hearing from his barber? Is he hearing it at the grocery store? Hey, don't be so hard on Caleb. Why you got to call out Caleb like that? I don't know what the reason is, but either way, to see him buckle a little bit from his statements that are absolutely true and real and honest is too bad. Because that's what we're celebrating. That's what I'm celebrating. I don't know what else anybody else is celebrating because you can take your shirt off, you can leave your shirt on, you can have free hot dogs, you can pay for hot dogs. What I care about is the coaching. And I like the coaching. And I want it to stay this honest. So I'd like to figure that out. I'd like to be rooting for a team that doesn't have to be worried about that shit. Because they're too confident and have too much conviction in what they're doing and who they are to feel that they have to be in any way pushed around by outside forces and outside opinions. Let them do their jobs and let this guy do his job. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. He said it, and I loved hearing it then. And then the moment somebody's uncomfortable, he's got to walk it back. Or he feels he has to. So I would hope that they can be more confident, I guess, in who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah, I just think that if anybody heard his comments Monday, if you thought that he was singling out Caleb and Caleb only, then you didn't hear the whole comments. And that wouldn't surprise me from some Bears fans who are really protective of Caleb Williams. And I can't imagine, and I would hope not, that Bears fans would be able to impact the head coach.
Is it wrong, as much as I am saying that I like Ben Johnson and like his coaching, is it wrong? Is it somehow a character flaw in me to get to the point where I basically am rooting against every major college football coach? That I just, it would be more fun if all of these vainglorious baby emperors all got the comeuppance like the Dabo Sweeney's getting right now. Every single damn one of them. It would be fun if they all could lose. I just feel that way sometimes. It's sort of like what I said the other day about, I think I'm going to apply the billionaire rule to college football coaches. That at this point, especially major Power 5 coaches, that I'm going to assume that you're awful until proven otherwise. I'm just going to default to that because the power balance is just ridiculous. And with the stuff Lane Kiffin is doing, and yeah, I'm going to paint with a really broad brush here because I want to. And the broad brush gets more paint on things. If I had one of the what do they call it? What's the blower thing with the trigger? Sprayer? What do they call that? This thing.
A blowgun?
I don't paint very often.
No, yeah, it's sprayer. So if you wanted to
paint sprayer, I'd paint with that if I could.
That works.
So,
I mean, I think
whatever,
people get the concept. Yeah,
whatever gets paint everywhere. That's what I'm using here because Lane Kiffin, man, and then he's making up a story that an Ole Miss fan tried to run him off the road. Did you hear that? Like on my way to the press conference, is like making up a scene out of Goldfinger or like a Daniel Craig James Bond Casino Royale. Nobody's trying to run your dumbass off the road. Come on. And how do you know as an Ole Miss fan? Some guy with like a rebel flag out there. I'm gonna get you, coach. You better use your oil slicks in your ejector seat because I'm coming for you. Come on, man. You really said that? And then to find out what Lane Kiffin did to his players, all this talk about, oh, my players want me to stay. My players want me to stay. This is the report from Sports Illustrated. And I want to thank DBU listener Pam for sending this along. This is according to SI. So the messy breakup came to a head Sunday when Kiffin announced he was taking the LSU job, and the Rebels named defensive coordinator Pete Golding their permanent coach ahead of a presumed playoff run. Kiffin was clear in his hope to coach Ole Miss in the playoffs, an intention that athletic director Keith Carter was not going to allow. So once Kiffin's decision was made, Ole Miss held a team meeting Sunday to name Pete Golding their coach. Kiffin wasn't present at Carter's request. In Kiffin's statement released following the decision, he mentioned his goal was to guide the Rebels through the postseason, quote, investing everything into a playoff run with guardrails in place to protect the program in any areas of concern, unquote. He said Carter denied the request, despite Ole Miss players asking him, Carter, to allow Kiffin to remain through the CFP. That's what he said. That's what Kiffin said. It's not true. Rebels players were immediately confident in Golding and the succession plan, praising the move on social media, exclaiming optimistic messages when seen leaving the consequential team meeting. One of Kiffin's reported tactics to remain with Ole Miss through the postseason was to take offensive staffers with him immediately if the request wasn't accepted. So let's be clear about what he did. He told Carter, let me coach the rest of the year here, or I'm taking everybody to LSU with me right now. So he held everybody hostage. Players got wind of that plan, according to Sports Illustrated, confronted their now former coach, after the school showed no interest in letting Kiffin finish out the year. That was according to a report from CBS Sports' John Talty. I'm not making them go, Kiffin told the players. They can do whatever they want. So that's some weasel shit there. Offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr., co-offensive coordinator and tight ends coach Joe Cox, general manager Billy Glasscock. What are we doing here? I'm just waiting for this list of names to keep going, and
all the cock boys.
But seriously, special teams coach Willie Jumbo Penis. What? Like, where are we going here? I can only hire coaches who have cock or cocks in their name. You know how things work here at Ole Miss, damn it. All right, so Joe Cox, general manager Billy Glasscock.
It's very fragile.
Sorry, and several other staff members, including Lane's brother Chris, are expected to head to Baton Rouge. Several defensive coaches are reportedly staying to work under Golding. Now, the CBS report said Kiffin believed until the very end Carter would relent and let him stay through the postseason. That didn't come to fruition, and both sides appear ready to move in separate directions, which obviously we know they did. But that's weasel stuff, man. Well, you better let me stay. I'm going to take everybody right now. The players didn't want him. The players like, get out of here, leave our assistant coaches, you go do what you got to do, and we're going to try to win a national championship. And then he's trying to paint it where he's holding the players up as some sort of human shield. Everybody, they all wanted me to stay, and they got rid of me and forced me out despite what the players wanted. Not true.
Well, remember what he said, too? He said that the national media wants him to coach Ole Miss through the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that. And
where's that from,
I
Lane?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I thought coaches didn't care what the media said.
Well, it depends what they say.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
But all these, and do I have it right? Penn State doesn't have a coach yet?
Yeah, that's correct. They were
good.
going after the guy from BYU, and then some rich people came in and said, hey, you can't leave. Here's a big bag of money.
And apparently there are rumors that super agent Jimmy Sexton is still chapped that they fired James Franklin, and he's now down at Virginia Tech, and because they did wrong by his guy somehow, that he's not steering his guys, one of whom just took the UCLA job apparently, that there's enough openings that he's telling the people he represents to avoid Penn State. So fine with me.
Is he at Virginia Tech? Is that official?
James Franklin?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I'm sure you're right. Yeah,
there's already people transferring there.
'cause I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago that he was the rumor was pretty heavy that he was going there.
Yeah, I
just
think
didn't
that's.
see that it was,
I think so.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're right.
And they also can't even figure out what their calendar is. So basically, they've got the transfer portal is going to be opening soon enough, and they're already flipping these recruits now who spent a reasonable amount of time making these considered decisions where they want to go to school, and then you've got like a week as it all stands on its ear for them to open everything up and make their new decisions. And this is because the coaches specifically wanted this calendar to fit them and not the players, and it's absolute chaos right now, which is fine because I don't really care. I will say I have one more year of caring about Tulane because that's how long I'm going to be paying them. And so for one more year, hire Ed Orgeron. Apparently, Coach Ord, the one that won't understand about you, that Ed Orgeron said he won't take that LAU job. They want to offer him that job. He won't stay down there. New Orleans, that old fishing hole down there for Coach Ord. He apparently wants the LSU job or the Tulane job. Give it to him. Hire him. Why not? How much fun would that be? He's a complete creep. I mean, he might, hit on the, trustees' wives or whatever at the gas station. He'll, hey, little lady, how you doing? Look pretty good to the boudin ball. Come with that shake, you know what I'm saying? Oh. Like, he'll do that. But how much fun would that be? I'm all in because I don't care. Like I say, most of these guys are somehow they're horrible creeps anyway. So you might as well have a fun one who certainly fits. He knows the area. He's worked at how many SEC schools now? And what I didn't know was Ed Orgeron's eldest son was on John Summerall's staff at Tulane already. And it's been fertile ground. That's where Bears offensive line coach Dan Rochar was. And now he's the best offensive line coach in football, apparently, based on what people are saying. So please, if I can get one thing, I've got one more year to care. After this year, I don't care. Do whatever you want. But I have one more year that I care about the fortunes of, in any way, and I don't really, but I'm pretending to, of Tulane football. So hire Ed Orgeron, just for entertainment purposes. Period.
Yeah, Franklin is at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Through 2030, his contract just under $42 million.
$42 million. He's already flipping people. And there are these recruits that have made all of these decisions. And apparently now that there's the tiniest bit of instability in the coaching ranks that is propagating, reverberating down, that so many of these commitments are being reopened and the recruitment's being reopened and everybody's going to end up elsewhere. It's not fair to the kids. And it's something we're going to talk about on Forward Progress today as well, is just what this is doing to everything, to scouting, to the players deciding when they're going to enter the draft, and whether or not, even when they commit to a school, if they're thinking, I'm going to go here for a year and then transfer, and they're setting up with their agents, setting up a plan to make their commitment something other than a commitment. It's all, and I don't mind. Chaos is fun. It certainly gives people a lot to talk about and gives people who still care so deeply about college football, because my daddy and his daddy and daddy's daddy and Uncle Daddy all cared about it. Okay.
Uncle Daddy.
Whoever it is. Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't realize Ed Orgeron, I didn't know he was at the Saints for a year. I didn't know that. In 2008, he was the defensive line coach.
It's possible he wasn't allowed to leave the state.
Northwestern State, McNeese State, Arkansas, Miami,
Okay.
Nicholls State, Syracuse, USC, Ole Miss, Tennessee, USC, LSU.
The well-traveled,
Yeah,
well-traveled Coach O, but he is fun. He is fun. Did you ever hear what he said about when LSU fired him? They said something. They said, "Well, we're going to have to let you go." He tells the story. We've got it in the system somewhere. I think he tells the story, and they said, "Well, we're gonna give you $20 million or whatever it is." Whoa! You just showed me which door to walk out of.
That's the right attitude.
Right?
That's the right attitude.
That's the right attitude. Not I've been.
You're done with me? Okay, that's fine. How much? $20 million? Good. I'm good. Which door
That's
do I
what he
move through?
said.
Yeah,
He said,
that's
"You
beautiful.
the $20 million. You just showed me which door to walk out of."
That's perfect.
That one okay. Goodbye. Thank you so much. If you're a last-minute shopper, and I know that's very common to be that, you know that feeling where you go to your store of choice and the shelves are empty and then you're like, I'm out of ideas, or you're shopping online and there was such a rush and you missed it or you slept in and then all the sizes that you want are gone and it's somebody for whom you struggle to shop. Well, I've got it for you this year. Your solution is right here. And I can tell you because I have one of these and it's so much fun. An Aura frame. An Aura frame is the perfect gift. It looks like a picture frame, but it is a crystal clear digital photograph display picture frame. Unlimited uploads of photos and videos. You download the Aura app, you connect it to Wi-Fi. And the great thing is, as a gift, you can preload the photos before it ships and then keep adding anywhere. So you can show whether it's for grandma or whether it's for a friend and you want to commemorate a great time that you had, or you want to celebrate an accomplishment or an achievement. That photo can be right on there being displayed the moment they turn it on. So you can personalize it, even with a message as well. And you can share photos and videos straight from your phone all year long. And especially if you're getting it for yourself, like the one that we have here, however you want to customize it, whatever list that you want, you can put the photos on a flipper or you can just put one on there. The Aura frame comes in a gift box that's included. There's no price tag. So you can't wrap this sense of togetherness or community, but you can frame it. For a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using our promo code DBU at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code DBU. This deal is exclusive to listeners. Frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. And you can support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. So it's auraframes.com, promo code DBU for $35 off. So get on that. Did you see late last night that Chris Paul was terminated by the Clippers? They're using the term sent home. They just said overnight, Chris Paul, one of the greatest players in NBA history, and certainly one of the greatest Clippers ever, is off the team. Just like that. This was announced from Atlanta. It was an Instagram story that popped a little before 2 a.m. this morning. He posted that he had just learned he was being sent home to Los Angeles from Atlanta. And then right after that, Clippers president Lawrence Frank texted a statement to ESPN confirming that Paul's no longer on the team. He said, "We are parting ways with Chris. He will no longer be with the team. We will work with him on the next step of his career." What happened? What happened? He then said, "No one's blaming Chris for our underperformance. I accept responsibility for the record we have right now. There are a lot of reasons why we've struggled. We're grateful for the impact Chris has made on the franchise." So the Clippers would have to waive him and pay out $3.6 million, agree to a buyout or look to trade him, and they couldn't do that for another couple of weeks, I think December 15th. Clippers have lost 14 of 16. He had come back on a one-year deal, and this was his chance to finish his career with the franchise he spent 6 seasons with. He's retiring at the end of this year, reportedly. He's the Clippers franchise leader in total assists and steals per game. This is bizarre for this to happen when and how it did. I don't know why you wouldn't manage the situation better. I don't know if Paul came to them and said, play me or trade me, or get like what Adam Thielen did with the Vikings, where he said, look, I want to finish out my career and play more. And the Vikings said, okay, it's all right. And you know that Adam Thielen will come back and he'll sign one of these ridiculous one-day contracts and he'll retire as a blank, because people do that. But this one's very strange. And we're just going to start to learn about why this happened and how this happened and why they made some midweek overnight decision on the road to tell one of the best players in NBA history that he's got to go home. Like this things like this, it's like the kid that gets sent home from a class trip for aberrant behavior in the hotel or something like that. Like you got to meet your parents at the airport. You're getting out of here right now. I think it was a tweet that I saw from Paul Pabst that mentioned it was like summer camp. Like you always know that story when you're at overnight camp. Like, hey, you hear so-and-so got sent home? Why? Oh, I don't know what the rumor is. You know, he stabbed a kid with a pencil or whatever it is.
Right. You wake up in the morning and he's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
he,
it's not
Chris Paul won final. He didn't win though, right? He's never won a championship.
No, and he could go ring shopping. You know, he could do like the Karl Malone or the Gary Payton or that where you find yourself at the end of a bench right now, just trying to add a ring, because somebody might want, or somebody would be like, look, I don't need a 40-year-old half a coach with all his strong opinions in the locker room right now. And that gets back to why did they get rid of him? It's one thing to say we're not blaming our underperformance on him. It would be another thing to say we wanted him out of our locker room right now because he was making it difficult on everything we were trying to do. There's clearly some tension here. Otherwise, you don't do this. It's a much softer landing politically if there's no bad blood. Something's clearly going on. I'd love to know what. And we will. We will know what at some point soon. This is an all-timer. This is a big boy table Hall of Fame player here. If I give you the career comps for Chris Paul, do you want this list? Statistically?
Yeah, what do you got?
These are Chris Paul's career comps. John Stockton, Jerry West, James Harden, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Reggie Miller, Steph Curry, Gary Payton, Clyde Drexler.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wow. That's big time wow. And middle of a road trip, go home. Get on a plane, get out of here.
Yeah, I would be really curious to understand the background of this because
I don't know.
I'm sure. I mean, what they're 5-16, obviously one of the worst teams in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he just had thoughts that people were tired of hearing, or
I don't know.
Some criticism for coaching.
I don't know.
The team itself, I don't know. It's
It's going to take some time to find out, but to do it when and how they did it is inviting further attention. I don't know what they thought. Who in the Clippers organization thought this was a good idea? And then to say, hey, he might post something at 2 a.m. that we got rid of him and told him to go home. There's more. So I guess we will wait to find that out and see who's willing to do the work to uncover some of this stuff. But I'm looking forward to knowing. I'm also looking forward to getting my brand new windows that are on the way. They are making sure that everything is just right from the factory. And I think I mentioned before that as they were finishing them up, before we set the date for installation, Russ called me and Russ like, hey, I just want to make sure we match the color on the front. So he said, just confirm that these are the sizes of the windows on the front, that we want the edges to match the color of the, and thank you. I'm glad you did that. They make sure that everything is taken care of. And this kind of treatment, this kind of attention is what you will get from Russ Armstrong and Chicago Window Guys, but you got to call him. So if you want new windows, you want him to make windows for you and treat you just like he has treated me, and this is round 2 of the windows that he's doing. You got to call him, 847-302-9171. And you can read all his 5-star reviews at chicagowindowguys.com and know that the same people who are going to be in and around my house installing my windows will install yours because he's got his crew. He does not use subcontracted labor. And they're great. They are super attentive and clean. And on the day they install, Russ is always, he was texting saying, are they there? Is everything okay? Is there anything you need? And this is the kind of attention and the kind of customer service that you get. And it even keeps going after the windows are installed because there's a lifetime guarantee with parts and labor. So if your kid who can't throws a baseball right through the glass out front, Russ will replace the glass. He'll replace the window absolutely free. He will not replace your kid unless you ask him, and then maybe he would. But I think it's going to be somewhat expensive. You don't have to wait weeks on end for a replacement because his factory, where he custom makes the windows, is right here in Chicago. And you will notice that you've got Chicago Window Guys windows because your heat's not going to go on as often. In the summer, your AC will not go on as often because the windows do a better job of holding in your desired temperature in your house, which is kind of the point. So call 847-302-9171 and check out his 5-star reviews at chicagowindowguys.com. You know what I did last night? I was flipping channels, and I was all excited because I thought whatever was going on DirecTV the other night when I was getting all the free channels and I was watching The Godfather and I had like all of the showtimes and all of the other things, and they weren't like dark. They were all lit up. I'm like, oh, this might be a mistake. And I started flipping, and I said, and Zoe said, why are you flipping past like 5:11? And I said, because there's some sort of thing that we get these channels, and we didn't. So I guess it lasted a day, or I just missed it. And then I'm like, oh, well. And she said, Dad, I don't think we get those channels. And I said, I don't think so either. So I flipped back and I said, well, wait a second. What's this? What is this? On national television. It was the Blackhawks and the Golden Knights. And it was starting at just the right time. And it was good. Steve Levy and Kevin Weeks, some familiar voices, and even more familiar to me than the actual Blackhawks broadcasters. So it was nice. It was fun. They got some guys who move fast. And I would just say this, that you don't have to be much of a hockey fan to like watching Connor Bedard. He's the best player out there by a mile. You can, the moment the puck is on his stick, You can't take your eyes off him. He does some unbelievable stuff in short areas, and he sees the next pass before it's not just the first pass. He sees where the second pass is going and sometimes makes the second pass instead of the first pass, and his ability to operate in space and whatever he does, getting that shot off in that tiny, small, that little area. It's like what they would say about how Mick Jagger learned how to dance on a crowded, tiny stage, and even to this day on these massive stages, he still works in these tiny spaces. That's the way. I don't know if Bedard learned to stick handle in a phone booth, but in small spaces, his ability to get power on a shot is pretty amazing. A lot of guys have to wind up. A lot of guys have to bend the stick and drag it way far behind him. He just sort of pulls it behind his foot and rips it at 90 miles an hour and on target. So he's fun. He's fun. And I think if you like that kind of thing, worth your time to pay attention to whenever he's on the ice, whenever he is in the middle of a shift. So there, I did it, and I decided to watch him. I didn't have to, but I wanted to. And I liked it. I enjoyed it. Although I think the ESPN broadcast, I think it's ESPN, was a little over the top in trying to promote the game and everything. And they went a little easy on the fact that Carter Hart was the starting goalie for the Knights, making his return to the NHL. And they didn't really explain what the sexual assault allegations were. And I had to go and look them up. So I remembered everything that was going on and what that group was. And I didn't, it was eventually too much for me to go down the entire inquest of everything with Hockey Canada and all that went on with the allegations and the civil suit and everything with that group of Canadian juniors that got in trouble for an alleged group sex assault. And then I kind of lost interest and I went to bed. So isn't that isn't that a great story? I thought you'd like that.
It was good.
Thank you.
It was good. I'm really glad that you watched Blackhawks.
I wanted to. I felt like it.
And so your conclusion, though, is Connor Bedard is good.
He's not just good.
Okay.
He is worth. It's worth watching a game just to see some of the things that he does.
Yeah.
Which you if you love hockey and like you're watching to see, Nazar and these other people do their things, that's one thing. If you're really a huge Blackhawks fan, which I'm not, but I can appreciate something special. And some of the stuff he's doing is special.
Yeah, for sure. We were at the game in late October against the Senators when he had his first hat trick.
And?
Oh, my God, it's 3 goals he scored in one game.
I remember. And you didn't throw your Carthage Firebirds hat.
Did not throw a hat. No, I didn't think I had a hat on, but I wouldn't have thrown it anyway.
I have a million hats I could
what is that? What is that hat back there that you have up there now?
This is the Space Cowboys.
Is that what some people call you?
No.
Oh.
But this is one of Jason's, this I think was the Fall League champion. They won as the Montgomery Biscuits. They won as the Space Cowboys, and I think as the Savannah Bananas. They had a lock on the Fall championship for a while. But I've been changing out these hats, and I've got plenty of them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was back there.
Yeah, I should change that out at some point. Thanks to everybody who sent in this story that I got an absolute kick out of reading about the drunken raccoon. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Because you saw the email.
I saw the story. Yeah, but I didn't dive into it though.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be surprised during the show.
All right. Well, it's an AP story, and I think it ends with the wrong conclusion, which is why I bring that up. So here's the story, and I'll just give you the AP copy. It's Ashland, Virginia. It says the masked burglar broke into the closed Virginia liquor store early on Saturday and hit the bottom shelf where the scotch and whiskey were stored. The bandit was something of a nocturnal menace. Bottles were smashed, ceiling tile collapsed, alcohol pooled on the floor, and the suspect acted like an animal because, in fact, he's a raccoon. On Saturday morning, an employee at the Ashland, Virginia area liquor store found the raccoon passed out on the bathroom floor at the end of his drunken escapade. And then he became the Secretary of Defense. I personally like raccoons, said Samantha Martin, an officer who works at the local animal control. They're funny little critters. He fell through one of the ceiling tiles and went on a full-blown rampage, drinking everything. They took the raccoon back to an animal shelter. The Hanover County Animal Protection and Shelter commended Martin for handling the break-in, confirmed the raccoon had sobered up. Now, here's where they lose me. After a few hours of sleep and zero signs of injury, other than maybe a hangover and poor life choices, he was safely released back into the wild, hopefully having learned that breaking and entering is not the answer. No, that's not what he learned. It's not what he learned. Because he'll regret it for a little while. And then later in the day, he's like, where was that place with all the scotch again? And he'll remember, and he'll go back there. However he got into the ceiling, he'll get into the ceiling, he'll get out of the ceiling, and he's going to go find the scotch again. And I know this because of Gary. Because this raccoon is Gary, who lived across the hall from us sophomore year of college. And he had the room across the hall. And every morning, or most mornings, Gary would wake up and he'd end up shambling into our room or knocking on the door or something. And he would look bleary and he would say, never drinking again. I am never drinking again. And if I say that I'm going out, just know that I'm not going out and just remind me. I'm like, no, Gary, you're in charge. No, I'm never drinking again. And then by 7 o'clock, Gary would be smelling like Drakkar Noir, and he'd have his hair gelled, and he'd say, who wants to go Chapel Hill? We're going Chapel Hill. Who wants to go Chapel Hill? Like, Gary, you said you were never drinking again. No, we're going Chapel Hill. And that is, of course, sophomore year when we realized that at Duke, you really are only going to have fun. I think it's changed now, but that's where you went. You went to Chapel Hill, but you hang with Gary's friends. I learned my lesson with that a couple of times. Well, I should have learned it the first time, but I didn't. And then the second time, we ended up shotgunning Old Milwaukee's. And then, Old Milwaukee was good. I liked Old Milwaukee, but we literally shotgunning, like putting the hole with the key and then snapping it. And then we took a bunch of mushrooms and went to Chapel Hill. And then we were in this club called Players, and and all of a sudden, like an hour later, and I went up to my friend Mish, and I was like, hey, does everybody in here have a pig face? And he said, what do you mean? I said, all of a sudden, everybody in here has a pig face. And he looks around and he goes, you're right. Everybody in here does have a pig face.
You mean like they were unattractive, or like
no,
a literal
like
pig
literally
face?
like
okay,
orcs.
So it was more than Old Milwaukee.
Well, I said we had a big bag of mushrooms.
Okay, mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah, and then everybody.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and then and I said, okay, so you see what I see? And he goes, I didn't before, but now I do. And I said, we have to get out of here right now. And this was before Uber or Lyft or anything like that. And we're, 20 minutes away. So we're like, we had to kind of get out of there. And so we went to Subway and got giant steak and cheeses.
Well, I love that raccoon ended up in the bathroom. Like, he was polite enough to go into the bathroom to throw up.
Well, I just passed out there. Maybe it was nice and clean. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted, he felt a little guilty, felt a little sad. But he's going to do it. I guarantee you. He's miserable right now, but they release him. It's like, oh, they're letting me go. They're letting me go. And he's like, okay, all right. So he'll spend his day doing regular raccoon stuff, and the time's going to roll around, and he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to go back to, that was fun. Because he's not going to remember the bad stuff. He's just going to remember the good stuff.
Yep, he'll be Gary.
It'll be Gary. His hair will be gelled, and he will smell like Drakkar Noir, because everybody smelled like Drakkar Noir before they replaced it with the much less expensive Axe body spray. Ugh. That college dorm smell of like piles of clothes and Taco Bell and axe. That is no thank you. That's going to do it for Dan Bernstein Unfiltered today. We'll get to the answers. We'll get the somehow. By the end of the week, we should have answers to all these questions. What's going on with Chris Paul? Can we root for all college football coaches to lose all the time? And why did Ben Johnson walk back his perfectly honest and legitimate comments? So same bat time, same bat channel when we reconvene. And do not miss a special Forward Progress Day. We got a guest today. So when that drops in a couple hours, do not miss it. But thank you for being a part of today's Dan Bernstein Unfiltered.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.